Hi, AI's impact on data and data collection. I spent last week at the SMR Congress in Prague, and it was an amazing event. We had 1,300 people, we had an enormous exhibition, we had presentations going on in three halls, conversations going on in the rooms as well. And what I'm going to share is all the insights I gathered coming back from there. And just to give you one heads up of one of the things I'm going to cover, the slide there is Elaine Rodrigo from Reckitt, and she's talking about the journey that Reckitt has been on from 2018 until this year, the transformation that AI is making in what she can do, in what her team can do, and in what Reckitt can do. And those are the sort of things that I'm going to cover in this presentation. So I'm going to start off by looking at the way that AI and the insights team are working together to become really central to companies' organizations. And this is a marvelous opportunity for those of us in insights. Then I'm going to mention the synthetic data revolution that's going on. Of course, we're going to look at conversational research. We're going to look at it in several of the presentations today, but it was a key theme in Prague at the SMR Congress. Then the advances in analytics and reporting. I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about how you can build a competitive advantage and how you can think about your future roadmap and best practices. So let's start with that presentation from Elaine Rodrigo, and there was another one from Heineken and Tony Costella. And what is fascinating is that they are putting the insights team right at the heart of the way their organizations are leveraging AI. So it's not just that the insights team are coming in once or twice during a project to add something. They're actually driving this process through. They're central to it. So they're making marketing more efficient. They're making new ideas more efficient, as well as testing them and making suggestions. And this is an opportunity for insights teams, and it's an opportunity for the insights industry. We appear to be adopting AI faster than most other sectors. So we are really well placed to be the guides and the driving force behind this change. There was, of course, a lot of talk about data quality. This is not a new issue. We've had the Global Data Quality Initiative going on for a while. We had presentations on this and we had some innovations. On the one hand, we're all worried about more AI-based fraud. And this is something that we need to look out at. And when we see below market pricing, guarantees of 100% fraud free and things like that, then we should be really worried. On the other hand, AI is being used to improve the checking, to look at who is really taking part and pulling that information together. So it's pluses and minuses. But global data quality from humans remains a major concern, particularly the large-scale work with panels. If we look back at last year, there were lots of experiments about synthetic data, but very few people who were talking about using it for real. Skip forward to 2025 and we see lots of examples. We saw them in the exhibition hall, we saw them in the conference presentations. There are still lots of concerns. This slide here is Heineken's Tony Costella looking at a report with Michelle Giddy from Ipsos about the different layers of risk with the different sorts of approaches that people are taking to synthetic data. And SMR have released some updated guidelines on what you should be doing and how you should be thinking about this new field of synthetic data. One of the presentations, I'm going to go back to this one again from Elaine Rodrigo, she talked at how some of their work has gone from being 6 weeks to 6 hours. How have they done that? Well, the first is that they were using AI to review past data, past attempts. Then they were using AI to create new concept materials. And then they screened those materials via synthetic respondents from the Bases company. So Bases are well known as a concept testing company, product forecasting company using conventional data. They now have a commercial service using synthetic respondents that's generating these outputs. You put those three things together and you can go from 6 weeks to 6 hours. But, and this is really important at the moment, winners from this process still get tested against real humans. This is really more of a screening. It's a creation and screening process at the moment. We are going to see more innovations over time, but that's where we are with synthetic data right now. And these are the guidelines I talked about. So SMR have previously produced the 20 questions to help buyers of AI-based services for market research and insights. We have now produced, I say we, I'm one of the authors of this report, have produced 5 topics of discussion to help buyers of augmented synthetic data. This is probably the most commonly and widely used form of synthetic data. These questions and these topics will help you ask the right questions. You can use the QR code to access it, and we have got some more guidelines and topics coming out soon. Conversational research was really hot, and you know you've signed on for this webinar. You're going to see several more presentations about conversational research in a moment. But we were seeing it everywhere in the exhibition hall. There are now a growing range of providers, including Yasna, co-sponsors of this webinar. And in the conference room, we saw presentations showing it in use. If we look at the real key benefits, the first one is that it's fast. This is the primary benefit. It's great that it's multilingual. It's great that it's affordable. But if for many clients, the ability to work at the speed of business, to get results back in time to be able to use them, in time to be able to make a difference, is what it's all about. One example of presentations on the main stage came from Petra Langen from the Life Science Company, who's going to be presenting later on in this webinar, and Inna Lotz from Nestle Health Science. And they showed how they were using AI as a sous chef to help them achieve these steps. So good briefing in phase 1. Then they used Yasna as their sous chef in action in phase 2. And then insight extraction, again using an AI assisted process. And presentations like this that show how AI and how conversational research are making a real difference are absolutely key for those of us who want to understand where research is going, what tools should we be using, what is achievable. When we look at analysing data, the first thing we notice is that most of the early gains over the last couple of years have been to do with qualitative research. Translation, transcription, sentiment analysis, coding, theme extraction, full analysis. And you can either do these as standalone tools. So obviously there's ResearchWise AI, there's fantastic tools out there like Coloop, or integrated with the platform. So most of the conversational analysis platforms have got tools built into them, and these tools are getting better and better. So we're seeing a lot of qualitative research done with AI assistance. But we're beginning to see more and more quant options. So many of the data collection programs, the Question Pros and the Forsters, have got good AI in them. There was a really good demonstration in Prague from the data analytics program Displayer, showing how its AI assistant really empowered you to do deeper research, faster, safer, looking at all of the options. And we're beginning to see AI-based assistants. So Kantar's AI assistant, Kaya, was on display, was being used. It can run through all of your brand trackers. It can run through all of your customer experience tracking, and you can ask it natural language questions, such as, what are the main trends in brand recognition that have been going on in Belgium, Luxembourg, and Netherlands, for example? And it will come up with solutions based on quant and qual within that information. Reporting is moving on in new and interesting ways. So we're seeing smart dashboards. We've had dashboards for a long time, but they've actually not been that friendly. Where we're seeing that there is more information, they're being fed by AI, they're using AI to allow you to access them. Interactive call data. So at the end of qualitative projects, people are creating personas, and you can then have a natural language conversation, or you can put a natural language interface into the data set and say how many people were talking about this, how many people were doing that. Enhanced video creation. There are so many new video tools now leveraging AI. You can do all sorts of things. You can create a virtual presentation in the style of your customer or in the style of one of your colleagues and make that available so easier. We're seeing better presentations using tools like, and I would stand out Gamma as a tool here. If you've not tried Gamma yet, get yourself a free account and just try it. AI-assisted generation of slides. This particular slide was generated by Gamma. One of the challenges we're going to have is how do we differentiate ourselves when everybody has got better tools for producing presentations? It's going to come down to you, your performance, and the message that you're going to convey. One of the key things we need to think about with all of this AI change is how do we develop a moat? A moat is a set of characteristics about your business that means that you are defended from competitors. You've got some advantages which are going to persist. So this icon here is a picture of your business, and it's got a moat around it, and people are trying to get across with all their AI tools. The first thing to remember is that AI will not be a competitive advantage. All of your smart competitors are going to use AI. They're going to use the same AI in many cases as you are going to do. This is what they call table stakes. It's not going to allow you to have an advantage. If you don't use it, you are going to be at a disadvantage. So I like to tell people to think about agents. Agents are one of the really big features of AI that we're seeing coming through. And the first thing about an agent is it uses AI. It might use Gemini, it might use ChatGPT, it might use Copilot, it might use Claude, or any of the others. The next thing it has is a set of instructions, things you have told the agent to do. And you in your company can create instructions that are unique to your knowledge of the marketplace, your knowledge of the client, your knowledge of what needs to be done to extract insights. The next element of any agent is knowledge. You have got unique knowledge in your organization. You can leverage that to produce these unique agents that will deliver something that nobody else can deliver in exactly the same way. So you're going to build your instructions, you're going to build your knowledge together, and you're going to use one of the AI platforms to make that happen. In addition, there are operational controls and feedbacks, things like connectors, things like the human in the loop, the way that you take feedback from your client to enhance the agent. All of those will matter. There is some uniqueness in those, but the really unique features are around the instructions and the knowledge. And that's what you are going to really want to focus on to create an agentic moat, a way that your product, your services can be differentiated. So what's coming next? This is the sun rising over Prague last week. The first one is disruption, and it's going to mean job losses. It's going to mean new solutions. So we're going to see new companies coming into our industry with new ideas. I think that's fantastic. It's obviously disruptive. It's obviously problematic in competing with them, but we need that if we're going to move forward. And we are going to see more options for clients to do research internally without agencies. So we're going to see more of our insight people will be employed by inside clients and fewer of them by agencies. And so that's one of the changes we're going to see. You better make care at a personal level that you're developing the right sort of skills to be able to deal with these changes. Agents, I've mentioned them a little bit earlier. These are going to be the really key tool in the rest of 2025, in 2026, maybe even in 2027. They enable you to deliver a standardized product across the whole of your organization. They make you faster, they reduce errors, they allow you to focus on inspiration and intuition because the hard work is being done by the machine. So you want to make sure that you're looking at the agents. We're going to see richer conversational research. You're going to see some great examples later on in this webinar, but it's going to get better and better. We're going to see more voice, we're going to see more video, we're going to see more avatars, we're going to see better analytics, we're going to see the growth of synthetic data, a whole range of things coming over the next couple of years. And we're going to see more synthetic data, full stop. The number of places where it can be used is growing. There will be lots of places where we can't use synthetic data. Maybe some cases where we will never use synthetic data. That is not an agent of change. What is an agent of change is that the number of places we can use synthetic data, the number of suppliers of synthetic data, and the quality of synthetic data are all increasing. And the fifth one that we need to be aware of is that consumer behavior is changing. So AI is being used for search instead of Googling for search. We're seeing people buying things with agentic browsers. All of these mean that we need to change the research we do. In many cases, we don't want to know what a human would do. We want to know what the agent would do or what the AI would do. And creating this right balance is going to be a key part of going forward. So I'm going to share 5 tips with you on what I think you need to be doing to be safe, secure, to build the probability of doing well over the next few years. The first is you want to be the smartest AI person in your team. You might want to be the smartest person in your company. You might even aspire to being the smartest person in your country if you're in one of the smaller countries. But whatever it is, you want to make sure that people turn to you. If you're an agency, you want to be the smartest supplier to clients so that your clients are turning to you for advice and for mentoring. This is a really key step. You want to lead the AI integration. So obviously, if you're client side, you want to follow the model of Reckitt, follow the model of Heineken, and become the driving force. Likewise, if we're in the agency side, we want to be part of the driving force for our clients, and we as a team want to make sure that we're taking this forward. We are actually better placed than the IT department or the HR department or the finance department or any of these other things to understand what AI can do. It comes more naturally to many market researchers and insight professionals. We need to leverage that. You need to take risks. I've been in this industry over 45 years. We are traditionally risk averse. That won't work with this speed of change. I'm not saying take crazy risks. Don't start using things that are known to be dodgy. But if you wait until everything is proven, until we have a clear understanding of how to deal with the random nature, for example, of generative AI, you will be too late. You will be out of the process. You need to embrace these new techniques, try them. Yes, be a little bit careful, but be brave. You need to build this agentic moat that I was talking about. The AI is not your competitive advantage. You're going to be really good at AI. You're going to be really knowledgeable about it. You're going to be using it. But you want to focus on unique instructions, proprietary knowledge, operational controls that differentiate your approach from everybody else's. That is how you're going to get the security to move forward, how you're going to create stickiness with your clients. And continuous learning. I've sort of said this a couple of times already, but you need to keep to keep learning new things, keep moving forward. So you can set this as a target. Every month, learn a new AI assisted solution. Maybe it's going to be using Google's Nano Banana. Maybe it's going to be using the agentic browser from Perplexity. Maybe it's going to be combining connectors in ChatGPT. It can be any of these things. Maybe Notebook LM. Just make sure that you're learning a new thing each month and thinking about how to apply it into this broader picture.